don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this before.
So before we get into the video, only 1.8% of you guys are actually subscribed to my channel. I wonder if we can get that number up to 2% by next month. Can we do it, guys? Make sure to hit the subscribe button. It costs nothing, and it makes me super happy. Hello everybody, and welcome today to a Minecraft video. Now today, I am going to be checking out BSL Shaders, as I was told by somebody in my comments. It wouldn't take a lot of performance and that it looked pretty good. And today I'm going to be reviewing the shader. Now I tried it out for a bit before the video, and I'm just gonna say I do not like it as much as I like the two other ones. Right now my favorite one is Chocopic, but let's try out BSL Shaders right here. So we have BSL Shaders right here, and there's no different versions of it like Chocopic and Silder's Vibrant Shaders. But just open this thing, and in the shaders menu there are the different levels. Now I actually don't want to go any level higher than low because there isn't much of a visual difference as far as I could tell, and the frame rate dies when you go on to higher thingies, even though it's supposed to be a low performance shader. So if you can see here, it does make the game look different, although different does not necessarily mean good. The lights are still white, they still look like daylights instead of being, you know, more reddish and like actually having color like they should. It doesn't feel like, this doesn't feel as real as Chocopic Shaders makes it look, or as Chocopic Shaders would look. And even the frame rate here, even if I turn it up, the frame rate is not very high with these shaders, even on the lowest version. I would get the same frame rate if I were running the highest version of shaders. If we go outside, my eyes are actually hurting a bit because of how overexposed this is. This is supposed to be green here. It just looks like, I mean, it still looks like green, but you guys don't see it as well on my recording, but this is like bright. This is really, really bright on my screen. And it's like, it's all washed out and everything, and it doesn't look good. And also, another thing I have to say is everything just looks kinda hazy. I don't know why, but everything just looks kind of hazy. Another thing is shadows are super low resolution, so you can see each individual pixel. Even as we look around here, the pixels are changing. And I think that that's probably not a good thing. When you're playing Minecraft, you don't want to have these incredibly blocky shaders and everything. And yeah, it's just, it's not the greatest impression so far. But we think about what the biggest change that shaders actually change in Minecraft, we would think about the water. Now you do have volumetric clouds. They don't look as real as other shader volumetric clouds. They do change, but I could see this as being different videos laid over each other instead of actual volumetric clouds. And these look like they're more on a cube system that kind of merge with each other, like rounded cubes instead of actual volumetric clouds. And I don't know, it just doesn't seem to look as good to me. So if the shadows are bad, if the clouds are bad, everything is overexposed and hazy. But the one thing you're looking for, the only thing you want to look better in, or better in Minecraft, is the water. Let me tell you, the water does not look any better than in Chocopic Shaders. Now, I could see how this would run better on a device with a lower end graphics card, is 60 frames per second, which is, you know, not hard for you to ask of a GPU. Then you could run Chocopic Shaders Extreme, and it would look way better than this. So I don't really see the appeal because most people would have a graphics card that runs. The water does have these waves, but again, it just kind of doesn't feel natural. Like if you were looking at actual water, you wouldn't see these kinds of waves. Where in this, it's just kind of like the water going up and down. You have water, like normally in waves, you'd have water going like sideways through the water, or like expanding throughout the water. In this, you just have it going up and down and up and down. And you know how in the other two shaders, it had caustics, where on the bottom here, you'd see like just in a swimming pool, you would see in real life. There's like these brighter lines and darker spots on the sand caused by the water above you, which you can't even see very well right above you. It just kind of looks like a dark glass pane. But normally you'd see like, you would have these ripples on the bottom that are supposed to make it look more realistic, but with this you just don't get that. And you don't get the distortion out of the water either. Like that should look completely different than normal, but it just looks normal. It just looks like there's a floating layer of dark, half-transparent tinfoil above my head, and I don't really like that. You guys might like this water, but honestly, I prefer Silder's Vibrant Shaders water over that, and Chocopic Shader shader water over even that. So I just don't really see the appeal in getting the BSL shaders over any other shader, because it looks hazy, it looks overexposed, and the best part about most shaders doesn't look as good as competing shaders, and it performs worse than other shaders. Like I'm averaging 27 or so frames with dips down. With Chocopic Extreme, I played Chocopic Ultra, which you'll see in shaders. Well, I did a tutorial for one of my friends on this, and I only have the Extreme, but I had Ultra in there, which is one better, and I peak up to 40 frames, and I average 30 frames. With this, even in small spaces, I average 30 frames. In small spaces like this, I would average 40 frames on Chocopic. So I don't see the appeal here. I don't see why you would want to play this over other shaders. Like, I see the lens flare there, but are you really gonna notice that in actual gameplay? It's so faint that I would not notice it in actual gameplay. And there's even bloom on things there should not be bloom on. So like if I go up to the zombie and I hit it with full force, my swing has bloom on it. That's not a physical object that should have bloom. So it looks bad when there's bloom on it. And you might be thinking, oh well, bloom is good, so yay bloom. That's not how it works, and I'm sure within enough time of playing this shader pack, you'll quickly see why other shader packs are better. So I think, at least personally, it's a bad shader, bad performance. I don't see why you would play it over anything else, and even the best version. Let me just compare it. Double carpets work, guys. Let me just compare this water with Chocopic Extreme, and even show you the frames difference that you get with Chocopic Extreme over BSL, and why Chocopic Extreme or even Chocopic Ultra is better than BSL in the first place. So you have water that looks like this. It's dark, you can't even see the waves from up here, and it looks like there's no special effects happening at all in that. It looks transparent. It looks kind of transparent water. Then if we switch over to Chocopic, then we get even better colors, I would think. and it looks way darker, and there are special effects. You can even see the slight wave, and I was about to be pushed off by a zombie, but I'm just gonna jump down and show you how much better this looks. So you can see, because the sun isn't up, it doesn't really show caustics unless you're farther away from it. But you can see that there's those lines, and I'm being attacked by a skeleton. But you can see those lines, and you can see the special effects, and you can see the distortion. And I'm averaging, while I'm in the water, while all that stuff is happening, I'm averaging 30 frames. But while I'm up here, I'm still getting the same frames as the BSL shaders, but this looks way better than the BSL shaders. So there's just another comparison. And you see this, there's so much bloom, there's no contrast. This is bright, where before it was dark. And, like, it had some contrast, you know? It wasn't just all bloom and light. So, I don't know why you would play BSL again. And yeah, that's actually the first shader pack I would rather be playing. Like, I would rather play with no shader pack than play BSL shaders. And yeah, that was my shader review. I honestly could not recommend you BSL shaders. And thanks for watching. That's me signing off, not playing BSL shaders, and see you next time.